Okay, what I've got here is my WMS Euro lock. It's only a 5-pinner. Show you the locks all working. Now normally if you're single pin picking or you're using a pick gun, you'll use one of these, which is your standard type tension wrench. Just sits in the top there, applies your light pressure onto the lock, so when you pick it the lock will turn open. What you find with these tension wrenches, as good as they are, they do provide a good job, but if you look how much of the keyway it's filling up there, probably a third of the keyway. The downside to that, if you're using an electric pick gun, it restricts the movement of the needle going up and down, so it can't fully go up and down as freely as it would like to do. If you're single pin picking, you can't always get over the top of the pin because this restricts it slightly. Another problem you get with these standard tension wrenches is they tend to slip when you're single pin picking. You think you've picked the lock but you actually haven't, which is quite gutting, and sometimes it means you reset the lock and after you've just got over the high of thinking you've picked the lock. With an electric pick gun you tend to vibrate these out as well, and sometimes they slip just because you've picked the wrong tension wrench. The way around all this is simple, which is one of these tools, which is a circular tension tool. It's different kinds. You can get a basic circular tension tool. See how it's got the 2 prongs on the back? On the basic one you just adjust those wires until it fits the keyway. On the spring loaded, which this one is, you've got the advantage of pushing the button on the top, which moves one of the needles up and down, so it'll fit the lock nicely, as you can see there. And you also get some with a dial on, which allow you to be accurate in how much tension you want to apply to a lock. Once you've got that tension in your mind and you know a certain brand, like say Era, goes on a 0.1, you can turn that tension to 0.1 and you know you've got the right tension for most of those Era locks then. The other advantage of these, because it's tension top and bottom, it turns the lock a lot easier, and when you're using a pick gun in particular, it's not bouncing out the lock like a tension wrench, and you can see you've got quite a lot more of the keyway free there. What I'm going to use first is a dyno electric pick gun, just to demonstrate, because the needle can move freely, it generally opens the lock fairly straightforward. It's a bit awkward working around this camera, but we'll do our best at arm's length. So I'm applying light turning pressure to the tension tool. Oh, got in there, nice quick. See how quickly that went. It's not an amazing lock, don't get me wrong, but it just shows how good a tension tool that is. Again, let's put it back in there. I'll try not to blind the screen too much, and what I'm going to do here, let me just manoeuvre myself to make it so you can see a bit. We're going to lightly rake this lock. Again, didn't take too long. And the other thing it's good for, as I've already said, is single pin picking. I'm just going to move the camera around slightly for this, because Sausage Hands is going to block everything off, no doubt. Let's just adjust that a little bit. So we're going to try and single pin pick this. Again, nice light pressure. Most people pick from the back, I'm quite different and I pick from the front. And there you go, the lock's gone. Like I say, it's not an amazing lock, but it just demonstrates how light a turning pressure you need with these tension tools. Whereas if I was doing this with the standard style tension wrench, I'd probably have slipped out, because what I tend to do is I'm applying the pressure and picking. This will just jump slightly like that, and I'll think I've got the lock and I haven't. The tension wrench is slipping because I'm putting really light pressure, almost nothing on there, to turn most of the locks, especially with the pick gun. Whereas with this, you can apply that really light, almost nothing at all pressure, and it'll get you opening locks so much quicker without dropping out like a standard tension wrench. That's the circular tension tool.